Alright, here we are in the finals of the Virginia State Championship. Both players have won one game. This is a best of 3 series, and we'll see who wins the final and deciding Game 3 to see who becomes the state champion of Virginia. Will it be Curran Hill on the left with the Terrakion deck, or Michael Pramwat on the right with the Zekrom Electric deck? Curran, of course, just flips over his Terrakion because he doesn't play anything else. His Pokemon is no surprise, but Michael, he does play more than one different type of basic Pokemon, so he has a Tynamo. Now, both these starts are pretty normal. Michael actually probably would prefer to start with this Tynamo, knowing that there's no danger for him to lose on the first turn, and he could retreat to whatever he wants to. If he gets a Thundurus, that would probably be his preferred start, but we're going to have to see what he has. Now, Curran has the extreme advantage of going first. This will allow him to get the first energy attachment, the first attack, pretty much the first everything. And he's going to attach and pass because really that's all Terrakion does on its first turn. This deck really doesn't get going until the third turn when it can start using Land Crush. But turn 2 it can start using Retaliate for a knockout on Tynamo or even Tyrogue there. So it's more dangerous against the Zekrom Electric deck than it is against most other decks. Actually being able to score a knockout from turn 2 and then being able to do 90 for the rest of the game. So Michael right away goes for that Tyrogue, maybe thinking, alright, I need to soften up this Terrakion, hit it for 30. That way I can set it up for a Mewtwo using X-Ball, or in a perfect world, Tyrogue stays asleep, and then he wakes up, and then he hits Terrakion again, then he can really weaken him. So now we see a Juniper discarding a lot of lightning energy, and an Oak's New Theory. I'm not sure what that other card is, but he's going to get a fresh hand of 7, hoping to get some more Tynamos, and maybe a Thundurus as well. So there's a Level Ball. We'll see another Tynamo here. Just going to check to see how many is in his deck, and yep, there's that second Tynamo. Hopefully he got a Dual Ball, or a basic of some sort that's not Tynamo or Tyrogue. Looks like he does have a Thundurus in his hand. I would like to see him charge on this first turn. I'm thinking he will. And let's see. No, he's actually going to go for Mischievous Punch for 30. Taking a little bit of a risk there. He's actually going to plus power as well. So, Mischievous Punch for 40 on the first turn will be Michael's plan of action. Now Curran, he's got to be on guard here. Even though that wasn't the most intimidating thing in the world, he is in some danger of losing if he doesn't bench another Terrakion here. And he will do that right now. Reason being, there could be an Electric, a Dynamotor, and an attachment onto that Thundurus, and a plus power. And if all that happens, this active Terrakion will be knocked out. So this is a very, very dangerous turn, to be honest. He needs an EXP share, and he needs it right now. Not sure what's going on. Michael's signaling something, and okay, never mind, he's got EXP share. So, this is no longer a dangerous turn. Things are fine for Curran, but you can see how quickly things can get out of hand if you don't have everything at the right time. Energy and EXP share are the keys to this Terrakion deck. And if you miss even one of them at any point in the game, that can be the determining factor between a win and a loss. But right here, looks like he's got everything running smoothly so far, and no hiccups. And he's going to be in the lead early on. Now he'll probably just retaliate this Tyrogue. He had catchers in his hand and decided not to play them. I think that's a smart choice. Save the catchers for a later time. You're already going to take a knockout on Tyrogue. No need to catcher or anything like that. So, gonna have a fresh hand of 6 here off the Oak's New Theory. And we'll see Retaliate, I think. And that'll be Curran's second turn. Your turns aren't too exciting with the Terrakion deck, but they are powerful. That's just the point of the deck. Simple, straightforward, and very powerful. And that's all there is to it. So, Michael will switch. He actually switched to the wrong Tynamo, I think. If he were to get a double Electric into play. The one in the middle of his bench is the one he just put out this turn, I think. Could be wrong, but I wonder if anybody would even notice. So now he has 3 Dynamos in play. 2 are eligible to be evolved this turn because 2 were on his field at the start of the turn. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him at all. But we shall see quickly. He's going to want an electric and a thunder or lightning energy. This turn you'll probably want a catcher like that one as well. So that is a nice little win for him there. See what else he got, and there's an electric. He actually evolved the one that just came into play, I think. I might be seeing things, so I'll just stop talking about that. But we do see an electric come into play. Dynamotor onto Thundurus, and we'll see a Disaster Volt for 80 damage. And he's pretty much just hoping that Curran does not have a switch here. But does Curran have the switch? He attaches to that benched Terrakion, so yes, he does have a switch. And we'll probably see him grab Heavy Ball. Grab Terrakion with Heavy Ball. Yep, there we go. Gonna grab another Terrakion, and Michael is not looking good. There's 30 on the active Terrakion. Now, this means if a Mewtwo were to come down with a double colorless, he get X-Ball for 100, and that would be pretty good, since that other Terrakion on the bench is softened up already. That would really be his only way to respond to this active Terrakion right now. And even if he does, it's probably not the best way to go about it. So really, he's just going to have to try to get lucky at this point. I don't know how else to put it. You know, whether it's getting out super powered Mewtwo like he did the last game. He's going to have to do it like within the next 2 turns. Or maybe getting a Tornadus and dropping 2+ powers. That could do it. There is actually 40 on that Terrakion, I apologize. So, you know, maybe a Tornadus and a plus power. That would knock out the active. That wouldn't be bad at all. Of course, Tornadus resists fighting, so no real chance of being knocked out by a Terrakion in one hit. It'd actually take 4+ powers after the resistance to knock out a Tornadus with a Terrakion. So, there comes Mewtwo though, which is probably the easiest way he's going to be able to get a knockout here. And he plays the Oak's New Theory. He'd probably prefer to use Tornadus and a plus power in this spot. You don't want to throw out an EX if you don't have to, but if he has to, that's really his only option. And you can kind of see how this game's going to play out if things don't change. There's those 2 EXP shares on those Terrakions. He's going to be able to do 90 every turn, and even though that sounds horribly unimpressive, like, oh, you do 90 every turn? Good job, that's kind of boring. But if you look at it, there's a Mewtwo that has 170 hit points. If you hit it for 90, then it only has 80 hit points left. If you hit it for 90 again, you just took 2 prizes in 2 turns. That's a pretty good deal. Then you look at the other stuff. Dynamo, that's going to get knocked out by Retaliate, even if it doesn't do 90. Electric, that's going to get knocked out by a Land Crush, or Retaliate after something gets knocked out. So there are so many of these targets, and you can actually see there are 5 real targets on the field, so if Curran just keeps drawing catchers, there's no real way for him to lose. And you can kind of see how this deck has had so much success. There are always just so many targets for the Terrakion deck to catcher when you're facing the Zekrom Electric deck. And here comes the Tornadus, so maybe we can see a glimmer of hope here for Michael. It's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do. It looks like he's a Junk Arm. So yes, this is the right way to go about it. He's going to catcher up that Terrakion with no energy on it, but it has an EXP share, and get a knockout on that. That way the energy doesn't move to a new one, and he knocks out a damaged one. And that was really the best way to go about it. But now we'll see. Okay, there's a catcher on the Mewtwo. This is the danger of benching that Mewtwo. Even if you don't attack with it, it's just a target. It's going to get knocked out in 2 hits probably. Let's see, does Curran want to do anything else? He's got an N and a Copycat. I'd probably go with, yeah, it goes with the N. And really, if he just, like I said, keeps drawing Pokemon catchers and energy, he'll win the game. He's got the prize lead. This Mewtwo is going to get knocked out in 2 hits. There are 2 Dynamos and an Electric that are just begging to be knocked out eventually. And I don't see him coming back. I don't see Michael coming back. It's just too hard. Unless, you know, Current gets down to 1 prize, and then Michael plays an N, and Current doesn't draw anything off of it. Michael can keep attacking with stuff like Tornadus and Mewtwo, stuff that wouldn't be knocked out by Terrakion in 1 hit. And then eventually he could make a comeback that way. But that's really the only way. He is in quite a hole at this point, and I don't know if there's a way out for him unless Current just draws absolutely nothing. And he did draw energy there, so even if this Terrakion gets knocked out, there's going to be another one ready to use Retaliate the next turn, and things just go downhill from there. They just kind of play themselves out. What can you do if you're Michael? You've already fallen behind. It's like he's going to play a Junk Arm, and he's going to get a plus power. So he's going to force Current to actually have something this turn, and he actually has to Juniper away an N, which I don't really like. N's going to be his real way to come back, so I don't really like that at all. But he decided to discard it with Juniper, and we're going to see a Hurricane for 90 that will knock out this Terrakion, and maybe give Michael a chance, but there is a Junk Arm in Current's hand, which will turn into a Catcher, which will knock out that Mewtwo EX for 2 prizes. And even though this game is tied right now, and hey, look, there's even a Catcher there. So he's going to Catcher for the Mewtwo, I'm sure. Yep, here it comes. And then, just going to see an N, I think. He could Junk Arm, discarding his whole hand, or use N. He's going to play plus power first, then N. Doesn't really need the plus power right now. Doesn't want to draw it back. And he'll play N, drawing his 4 cards. And Michael will draw 4 as well. But then, the crucial swing is going to happen where Current takes 2 prizes. And Michael will still be stuck at 4. And he's just going to be looking at 2 fully powered Terrakions. Or 2 Terrakions, 1 pretty much fully powered. But looking at this, there's really one way Michael could win. Well, that was if Current doesn't have any energy, but he does get an energy, so that plan goes out the window. If he could get a Zekrom out next turn, and a plus power and Bolt Strike that Terrakion for a knockout, that would be a way to come back here. And hope that Current just runs out of stuff. Now, if Michael had an N here, oh, he's gonna Junk Arm here. He's gonna go for something, not sure what. Looks like a plus power. So he realizes that Zekrom is his opportunity here. He's gonna go for it. So here we go. Drawing 7 cards. He does draw the Zekrom, it looks like. This could be a huge turn. Depending on whether or not Current gets an energy next turn. This is going to be big. This is Michael's opening to come back. I thought he was all but done, but now he's got one more shot here. There's going to be 2 Dynamotors onto the Zekrom, and let's see if he can pull it off, guys. That Bolt Strike's going to do 130, and there's a 3rd Dynamotor, actually. Or 3rd Electric, which can turn into a 3rd Dynamotor. So he's going to get another energy on that Tornadus. Man, can Michael pull off the improbable comeback here? Gonna Bolt Strike, doing 50 to himself. And Current is just left with his 1 Terrakion. And no energy in his hand right now. He does have a supporter. But with no energy, if he doesn't get an energy drop this turn, Michael is going to really come back. He actually will. He will make up his lost ground here. There's no doubt in my mind that he'll do that. So here is a Junk Arm. Not sure exactly what Current is going for here. Maybe a Revive or a Heavy Ball. Just something to get another Terrakion in play, because he realizes, oh, if I don't knock out this Zekrom, or even if I do, my Terrakion could be knocked out. So he's gonna play Revive, get rid of Pokegear and something else. I forgot what it was. I think it was a Black Belt. And he's actually going to catch her up in Electric. Not sure exactly why he would catch her out that Electric. Maybe to prevent a big turn where Michael Dynamotors a bunch of times to a Mewtwo EX and has a big X ball. Not too sure, but it's going to come down to energy drops here. It's going to come down to whether or not Michael has a plus power next turn, and if Curran gets an EXP share. And oh, the last card was the fighting energy, and he has an EXP share as well. And now I don't think Michael can come back unless Curran misses an energy next turn. That was really a perfect hand that Curran just drew off of those 6 cards. If he missed either the EXP share or the energy, he would have been in a ton of trouble. But he drew both of them on this crucial turn. He's going to be able to retaliate, go down to 1 prize against this electric, and get a knockout here. A very close back and forth battle, but Curran's always just had just enough to hang on and keep up with Michael in this heated battle of exchange knockouts. So there we see the retaliate. Michael is on the ropes. The burden is on him to do something here. In a perfect world, he would have an N and a plus power, something like that, to get himself in position to win. But I don't know. I do believe time is close to being called as well, so this is going to be extremely close. Who knows what's going to happen here? Dual ball. Can't tell if he got heads or not. Doesn't look like it. If Michael can score a knockout here, Curran will have to draw an energy to respond with the retaliate. There's a catcher, so I don't know. Doesn't look like Michael has the cards he needs. He's just going with Tornadus at this point. And puts down a Thunderous. Those are not the cards that he needs right now. And Curran's got to be feeling pretty good. He's got Juniper, Oak, Switch, pretty much all the stuff he needs in his hand, barring a catcher. And Michael must not have the cards he needs. The one he really would have liked to have here is a plus power to just put the pressure on Curran to say, look, you either have the fighting or you don't. If you do, you win. If you don't, I win. But it looks like he didn't have that plus power. Either that or he didn't want to take the risk, and he decides to catcher out the Terrakion instead. We can see that Curran doesn't have a fighting in his hand, but Michael has no way of knowing that. And it looks like time did get called, so this is an unfortunate situation for Michael. I don't think he'll be able to take the 2 prizes he needs in time. And if he does at this point, he's probably going to get knocked out by a retaliate. He's just going to be a turn short in terms of tying this up, I think. So time is an unfortunate part of these events. 60-minute time limits plus 3 turns, so we've entered the plus 3 turns phase. Michael will be turn 0 because time was called during his turn. Then Curran will be the first turn, Michael will be turn 2, and then Curran will be the 3rd turn. So after the 3 turns are up, if Curran is in the lead, then he'll win. And Michael shows his hand, he says, okay, I can't catch up in time. And he extends his hand, says congratulations. So there you have it. Curran Hill, with his 4 Terrakion crazy deck, is the Virginia State Champion, taking down our own Michael Pramawat in a very, very close, exciting series. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. We will be streaming the state championships from the 3rd week live. We did that in week 2 as well. So pay attention to our stream page, our Facebook page, and Twitter page to see if we go live this weekend. We'll be from Illinois and Maryland state championships. So if you can't make it out to state championships this weekend, keep your eyes open. Maybe you can still catch some Pokemon TCG action. We will be streaming live, and looking forward to that. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this series of games, and see you guys next time.